Good day, fish tankers. Aquarium plants, we know why we have them. They make the aquarium look good, they're hiding space for the fish, it's some interaction, and they also help with maintaining water quality through absorbing, among other things, nitrates and even some ammonia. But is it possible to have too many plants? A short answer is yes, it is possible. Not here in the nanocube, which I have just redone. You see the plants are starting to grow in there. It can have more plants, but you can have too many. And what are the factors that determine whether you have too many plants? Well, most of us, to be frank, usually have too little plants. If we look at my buffer tank that I just had to give a heck of a clean and throw away plants because of an algae issue, these are too little plants. There's not enough plants in here. It needs more plants. In general, I would say about 2/3 of your substrate at least should be covered with plants. And it takes a while to get there. Here's the evolution of my 29 gallons. Look how it started, those tiny little crypts in front. And it took a while to grow up to this point. There you see the Vallisneria starting. There you see the Wassertang starting. And here it is today. Now, believe it or not, I found out quite a bit of plants here a while ago. The Wassertang was right to the front of a glass. And you see what I'm doing here. There's some swimming space. There's a corridor of swimming space in front of a tank which you want to see your fish, as well as in the middle there where that remaining Amazon sword plant sticks out. But that's the first thing. The plants must not be too heavy to limit swimming space too much. There must be adequate swimming space. So that's one thing you must consider when you have plants, that the fish have enough room to swim, as well as hiding places. There must be a combination. And the second thing that bears consideration is, of course, water circulation. Because you see I have a Vallisneria going around the side, and here, if I go around the side, there's a very, very thick clump, and the filter is just sitting there and it's sucking water through, so there's still some circulation. And I keep it there for the breeding activities of the cherry barbs and the diamond tetras. But if the entire tank is grown in like that, then you're not going to have enough circulation. It's going to become one big swamp. So, you see here in front, I've got some Vallisneria growing to the front. So I'm going to pull out those plants. I've fast forwarded a bit to not bore you guys to tears. And you see, you just gently sort of tug at those plants, and you pull them out. It will make a bit of a mess because it's a dirted substrate. But it was not a mess that won't clear up very quickly. And if you pull out all those valleys, you'll have a problem with ammonia spikes and something. But if it's just a few plants, it's okay. Guys, please take some time if you want and share the content among your fishy friends. Send it to a friend that might be able to use the information. I'll greatly appreciate that. And I'm just going to clear out the Vallisneria. I always keep the Vallisneria at the back and towards the side of an aquarium. Enough of it, so that there's swimming space and open spaces for circulation as well. But you see, I do have a lot of plants, so you've got to get that balance right. And there's even some Wassertang that's sort of grown among the valleys there on the ground. I'm taking that out as well. You can take that to another aquarist, old Jackson down the road. Got a bit of my Vallisneria and some Wassertang, I believe, and it's grown in like gangbusters in his tank. So these, I'm afraid, are going to go straight to the compost heap. There, I'm pulling out the Vallisneria there at the base because it's on its way to growing into the center. And they're sometimes attached to runners. You just pinch off the runners. So that's it. If you have stem plants, you can just trim them with a pair of scissors and they'll go out easier. Now, the other thing, when you have too much plants, it's when you have floating plants. In South Africa, we don't have many floating plants, or hardly any at all. They're all illegal, but the Vallisneria over here substitute for that. The leaves trail all across the surface. It looks great, but if it's too much, you can see the cryptocorynes here in front. The leaves are all sort of standing up, reaching out towards the light. So I've got to do something about that, and that is the third thing, is shade. If the plants at the top shade out the ones at the bottom, then it becomes too much as well. So I'm going to trim off these Vallisneria leaves, because if you just let it grow, eventually you're going to even have trouble feeding and getting the food down into the tank. You're going to have to punch holes through the trailing leaves floating plants are easy. You just scoop them out and give them to a friend or onto the compost heap. But whatever you do, you never ever ever chuck living aquarium plants into the waterways. It'll get the entire hobby banned. So don't be that guy or that girl. Now with Vallisneria, you can see I trim it with some aquascaping scissors. Don't rip it off, just cut it off. Those leaves will die back, they won't grow again or make a bunch like stem plants, but that's okay. And if a Vallisneria is still establishing itself or it is sort of struggling, then don't cut off all the leaves. Just cut off every second one, like I'm doing here. These are actually strong growers and well established. I can cut off all the trailing leaves, but I always leave a bit. And then I chuck the extra leaves in the bucket here. Now you see I'm done. Bit of a time lapse here. Now you don't really notice it on the camera, but believe me, there's a lot more light reaching the cryptocorynes on the bottom. You'll see the leaves will sort of flatten out a bit in a day or two towards the surface. And there it is. Now the plants are in balance again with each other. So that's it. You know, you've got to look at swimming space, enough circulation, and you have to prevent them from shading out the other parts of your planted aquarium. Guys, please remember to smash that like button. I always appreciate that. And here we're back to the 29 gallon, and you can see now I've removed that Vallisneria that was here on the right hand corner to the front, and the ones that were sort of growing into the middle. And I think it's well balanced now. That space there in the right hand corner in front of a Soeswasser tank is open bar for the crips and the fish can swim there. And to me, there's a lot of plants that help with the water quality, but it's not too much. Guys, tell me in the comment section, what do you think? What's your experience of planted tanks? And thank you so much for subscribing, and remember to subscribe if you haven't. And until I see you guys again, please take good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.